Hey guys, and welcome to my podcast. I'm your host Sonya with Sonya's Open Cupboard, and today we're going to go into talking about how to build confidence in what you are doing in life. So recently, I have been trying to work on a lot of different projects, this podcast being one of them, and I have taken my sweet time in getting it started because I lack the confidence in myself to do it. It's not that I don't have enough confidence to attempt it because here I am today, but the problem lies with actually getting started. This is something that I've talked to some of my friends about, and we all agree is a big issue when it comes to putting yourself out there on social media or creating something that you feel passionate about and excited about, but don't have the confidence in yourself to actually start or put it out there. It just depends on the person, your presentation, and what you're doing. But besides the point, I have found that in my endeavors in social media that I am not the most confident person in myself. I love to encourage people and show them that they are worth so much more than what they believe and that they can do so much more than what they believe they can do. And I love to see people realize that and come to know how amazing they truly are, because I believe each one of us is uniquely created by God, and He has given us so much to work with and so much creativity and so much knowledge. And I think that each person is just so beautiful and amazing and different, and I want people to know that. But when it comes to myself, it's a whole different story. So I am just coming to this conversation with you today with that in mind, that it did take me 2 weeks to actually record this right now. And the only reason I am recording is because a friend and my husband really encouraged me to just do it. That's it. I feel super self-conscious right now talking to a microphone, but that's okay because I'm really excited to see what comes of this. So first of all, I wanted to discuss why we feel this way about ourselves. I think that social media and just the world in general, I think even before social media, it's really hard because we as people are always thinking about what other people think of us. For me, as my personality type, I a lot of times want to make other people feel comfortable. So I will change the way I talk. I'll change the way I dress. It's a whole psychological thing where I choose to do certain things to make other people feel comfortable and to make them feel confident. And that's just who I am as a person. Not everyone is the same. I'm definitely not one of those people that goes off and wears the craziest outfit and is super out there and everyone notices. I like to make other people feel good and feel comfortable. That being said, I don't have a lot of confidence in when it comes to what I have to give to the world. I believe in what other people have to give, but I don't believe in what I have to give. I believe and I know that God created me as unique as anyone else, but sometimes it's hard to remember that, especially when I'm striving to put my best self out there, and I know that not everyone's gonna like it. And that for me is one of the biggest problems, is knowing that not everyone is gonna like you and not everyone is gonna be okay with what you give out or care about what you give out. And for me, that's my biggest hurdle, is knowing that I'm not gonna make everyone happy, but that's okay. That's part of life. If everyone was happy with one thing that you did, life wouldn't be any fun. There'd be no challenge. There'd be nothing to get us excited about what we were doing if all we ever received was, wow, that's amazing. I love what you're doing. That being said, you have to realize that encouragement from other people is also really important. So it's really easy, especially for me. I'm speaking totally out of my own personal experience is that, like, if someone encourages me or says, like, wow, you're doing an amazing job, or that's awesome, I'm like, yeah, but I could do better. Like, yeah, but I did this wrong. Like, yeah, but I really didn't have the best heart when I was doing it. I constantly take other people's encouraging words towards me, and I kind of twist it into, like, not as big of a deal. I'm like, yeah, but I didn't do it right, which is wrong. Like, I should change my mindset towards other people when they come and tell me, like, hey, you're doing a great job. Like, I need to take a step back and rethink about how I approach those praises, because sometimes it's a little bit awkward. Like, I love to give out, like, hey, you're doing a great job. Like, I love what you're doing. This is awesome. But then when people give it to me, I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, but I don't deserve this. Like, I didn't do a good job. No, you're wrong. Like, thank you, but you're wrong. And I mean, I wouldn't want someone to look at me and accept a compliment like that. I want them to be excited. I want them to be encouraged. And so part of feeling confident in yourself is being able to accept encouragement from other people. And that has a lot to do with the way you talk to yourself. And yes, everybody does talk to themselves, whether it be out loud or in your brain. It's part of life. It's okay. I'm embracing it. I definitely talk to myself. But a lot of the times, like I said, that self-talk can be really destructive. Like, I'll come out and say things like, I'll do something silly, and I'll be like, oh, Sonya, that was so stupid. And my husband, Daniel, will just look at me and say, like, why do you say those things about yourself? And, like, it just comes, like, out like nothing. Like, I'm like, oh, well, you're dumb. Like, oh, like, about myself. And he always questions, like, why would you ever say that about yourself? Because that's not who you are. That's not what you're doing. Like, people, even if it's something that really is silly or stupid, like, people make mistakes. It's not that you're stupid or you're dumb, like, or that you're not worthy. It's just that you did something that wasn't the best choice. Like, I don't know. It's just funny now that I'm, like, sitting here and actually saying it out loud. Like, I'm, like, sitting here, I'm like, what? Why haven't I taken my own advice? Like, what the heck? But anyway, getting back on track. So a lot of times it's hard for us to recognize how often we actually talk about ourselves to ourselves in a negative way, because Daniel hears what I say out loud about myself, but he doesn't hear what I say internally. Like, if I do something in my brain, I'll be like, oh, Sonya, come on, like, you knew, like, blah, blah, blah. And it comes so naturally because we do it so often. So it's one of those things, kind of like consciously being aware of when you're hungry and when you are not hungry, when you're thirsty and when you're not thirsty, is recognizing when how you're talking about yourself to yourself is encouraging or it's disrupting you. There's been so many times when I haven't been spending time doing the things that really uplifts my thoughts and my spirit, and that's reading my Bible, praying, and spending time with family members and friends who really care for me and lift me up and encourage me. And that is something that really shows through in how I talk to myself, because there'll be times when I am so frustrated, and the minute I go to scripture, I'll be like, oh, well, that verse was just meant for me in that moment, and God's really speaking to me because he knows me and he knows what I need to be reading and what I need to realize. And then also the same thing with prayer. Like, sometimes or if you don't feel comfortable with prayer, like writing it out in your journal, like just putting those negative thoughts out there, you write them or you pray to God and you ask for his help to remove them, and then you realize, like, oh, like, why am I even thinking these things? Like, you kind of rationalize everything, and a lot of times that's really scary to do, because you go into something holding on to that, and you stop for a moment and you say the things out loud, or you go to God in prayer, or you read the Bible, or you write them down, you realize that you're wrong. I'm like, oh, okay. And it's one thing to think of yourself as being dumb or stupid or any of those things, but to admit you're wrong, that's a whole nother story. And I do not like to be wrong. I think that plays a big part into self-confidence because you really end up holding yourself back. So when it comes to self-talk, you need to make sure what is going on in your brain and are coming out of your mouth about yourself is uplifting. And you want to make sure that you're not afraid to be wrong, because a lot of the times what you are thinking about yourself is wrong, because God created you. You're fearfully and wonderfully made by God, and He doesn't make mistakes. We make mistakes, but He does not make mistakes. My third tip is to actually start what you want to start. I have had this big dream. It's not really a big dream. I'm being dramatic, but I like being dramatic. So I have this big dream that I will one day be able to do my hair. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, I can barely braid my hair. And for a long time, I was like, okay, cool. I'm just never going to do my hair. But I really want to do my hair. Like, I want to be able to curl it. I want to be able to braid it. I want to be able to put it up in a bun and have it look nice. But right now, I don't know exactly how to do that. So a couple days ago, I was just sitting there. I was like, I just really want to know how to French braid my hair. I usually have this thought about once a week. Like, I really want to know how to do this. And I'll push it away because I'm like, well, Sonya, you were at the ripe old age of 24, and there's no time left to learn about those things, and you have no time, as I sit down on the couch and watch the Great British Baking Show. But obviously, I don't have the time to braid my hair. And this is just one of the things I do. I really want to know how to do a handstand. I have taught myself to do a headstand, which is good, but I still haven't taken the time to start trying to do a handstand, even though this is the third year in a row that I really wanted to learn how to do it. So I was like, okay, Sonya, you are going to start small, but you are going to start. And French braiding my hair is one of those things. So I have French braided my hair at least 4 times in the last 5 days. So I've like challenged myself to like do it as many times in a row, like as many days in a row that I can, just to at least French braid my hair once so that I can learn. Because the day I have a baby girl and she has hair that's long enough, if I don't know how to French braid her hair, then I'm going to be real sad. And so that's what I've always wanted to do. So it's just one of those thoughts that because I didn't have the confidence to start, I waited 24 years to start. And you know what happened? I actually started to braid my hair the first time, and I was like, oh, I kind of know how to do this. I was surprised as to how easy it was. And I had gone all these years just like seeing videos of it and seeing other people do it, and I'm like, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. But I don't know. Maybe I'll try tomorrow. Like, it can be one of the most simple things that you really don't think that you can do. And so what I'm trying to get at is don't set limits on yourself. And if you find yourself setting limits, find the smallest one that you've put up. If you're having a hard time starting, just look at your limits that you've put on yourself and say like, okay, well, if I want to start breaking down these walls and building some self-confidence, then by Joe, I have to start somewhere. So choose something small. Like for me, it's braiding my hair so that one day I can braid my kids' hair and maybe even Daniel's hair. It's that long. I think it would be funny. We'll see one day. These are all things that I need to work on and to remember. And I was talking to my friend today, and lo and behold, look at that. She's struggling with the same thing too. And it's just, I just needed to say this and come out and make this podcast as a gentle reminder to myself and a way to help other people feel confident in themselves, because I really do believe that as a group of people, if we just stand behind each other and keep on encouraging each other to do more and to be better and to be more creative and to be the people that God designed us to be, I think it's going to be amazing. And I think it's something really important that we shouldn't be forgetting. So I'm just coming to you today to simply say that I believe in you, that I believe in myself, and I will be continually working on believing in myself, but that I will be continuing to get on this podcast and do my best to help you do your best. So I'm going to end this podcast here, but don't you worry, I will be back with more tips on how to live your best life and to achieve the potential that you want from life. Like, you can achieve anything in life. And I just want this to be a place where I help you find those tools and help you to move past those barriers that everyone faces daily. Like, I feel the weight of being confident as something that's like so huge, and like, man, everyone else is so confident out there and they don't look like they're struggling. You never know what other people are going through. So I want this to just be a place where I can share with you my own personal struggles and let you know how I'm getting through them. Thank you so much for stopping by and listening to my podcast. I'm your host, Sonya, with Sonya's Open Cupboard, and I really appreciate you. You're amazing. I love you, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Have a good one.